Would you catch me if I was falling? Would you answer if I was calling? Could you love me with my eyes closed? 'Cause I saw something and I don't know what to do. I saw Jesus standing on the water, burned out buildings flooded to the altar, sacred stones and no one knew the meaning. And when I got there, everyone was leaving.
I'm Erin, and this is my partner Mary Ellen, and so we're Equuspirit Partnership. We're going to be kind of floating around and just kind of helping if you guys, need to focus or reconnect with a horse. We're just really going to be there to support you and your comfort level and your connection with the horse.
They are the most emotionally and socially intelligent, sentient beings that I can think of. In the herd, they know that they need trust to be able to survive. They have to communicate to be able to survive. And it's an inner knowing. Like people, we have to work and practice at these things, and we have this in us. But it's been kind of a lost art because we're such intellectual beings. We've been flexing our brain muscle for so long that sometimes our intuition has been kind of dormant.
How I met Mary Ellen is we were trail guides at a riding stable together, and we knew these horses very well that we worked with. And we knew all their personalities and all their little things that they did. But what we thought was very interesting is if each rider that got on the horse would act differently. Yeah. So a horse that was maybe really kind of high-strung or more energetic, somebody with a real kind of calm personality would get on this horse, and the horse would actually calm down. Or maybe a horse that's normally mellow and relaxed, a rider that was a little bit more nervous or uptight would get on this horse, and the horse would act a little bit more nervous or uptight. So they read energy. It's just in their nature because they're prey animals and because they're herd animals. Jen's going to be leading our class. So when you get in there, take a minute, kind of introduce yourself to the horse, however that makes sense to you. And then when you feel comfortable and you feel like you've made that connection, I'm going to have you go ahead and either put your hands up on the back or underneath the belly if you want to kind of lean into your horse a little bit and start to just kind of breathe with them and connect with them. And you also have a horse advocate that is holding the horse for you and maintaining safety for both you and the horse.
When you're in a partnership like this, you have to be connected to the animal. You have to take them into consideration. So maybe you want to do some crazy bath bend or something, but you have to be aware and constantly keep checking in and connecting with this other animal. Is it okay? Is it okay? And so keep that in mind while you're going through your practice, that it's not about you. It's about the connection between you and your partner this time.
So just be really present, see if we can tune down our intellectual thinking brains and kind of tap into the other parts of us to receive messages. Because our body's giving us messages all the time, whether we choose to listen to it or not. But that's where the horses come in. They can help us get there.
You guys ever heard about the term emotional intelligence? Yeah. So what is emotional intelligence?
It's about thinking with your intuition. It's about this inner knowing.
Yeah. So this is your IQ, right? So where do we get pretty much all our information from our EQ? Yeah, here, right? So our three main brains, and these are actually way more powerful than this one. These two brains will never steer us wrong, right? It's just energy that we're picking up from the environment, and it's instant. The horses operate from this place all the time. Even though they're highly intellectual beings, this is secondary to them because they're prey animals and they're herd animals. So we have a lot to learn about how do we start to use these muscles like Mary Ellen was talking about instead of this muscle. Tune this down a little bit and tune into this.
So if our communication is 90% nonverbal, like what is it all made of? My body language is giving off something. I'm picking up something from you, though we're not speaking, it's subconsciously noted, like an inner dialogue somehow.
I think eye contact is a big one.
Eye contact, your intent, what you're feeling.
Like you ever get that feeling like, I'm going to walk away from that person because I get creepy vibes.
Exactly. It happens all the time, but a lot of times too as people we're kind of tuned in to ignore it and to just keep going forward anyway because that was our plan. That was what we wanted to do rather than to just reevaluate as things happen. The horses reevaluate as things happen all the time. Nothing is good or bad. It's just information. We hang on to stuff, what happened and how that affected us, and sometimes we get stuck there as humans and thinking about tomorrow, things that haven't even happened yet, and a lot of times we miss what's going on right now. But horses, when something happens, an emotion or a situation, they process it as information, and then they're able to let it go and to move on to grazing because they know that they can't live in an environment like that. Their survival depends on it. And it's such a great gift because as humans, we just don't really practice that a lot. If we're more like a horse, then we can let go of that stuff too.
Even though they're all individuals, they all have their own personalities, they really work together as a herd. Horses are very connected. They're very unified. Have you ever seen horses ever running out together in a field? It's kind of like a flock of birds, right? They don't really need to tell each other they're running. They just run together because they're connected energetically. So there's really not even a whole lot of body language involved. It's more energetic. They're tuned into their environment, but they're also very tuned into each other. Horses set boundaries with each other, right? So the more dominant horse actually moves the other horse's feet. So rarely do they ever make contact with one another. They're all really about peace and energy conservation. But they move with their energy and their intent. So, and body language as well. But rarely do they ever have to make any physical contact with one another. They're really quite peaceful animals. And why this work works is because when we work with them in these groundwork activities, we actually become part of their herd as well. So you all have become part of the herd. So we look for these little signals from the horse to see how they're mirroring, how they're reflecting back to us kind of what we're giving to them like they do with one another. So we look at their ears. So do you see how, this is Lou, do you see how his ears are kind of just turned back there? Their ears can actually move independently like little satellite dishes. So you can tell where they're paying attention by the way they move their ears. So you can see he's listening to us, but he also has an ear tipped forward. What about her ears perked forward like this? Or his ears perked forward? Look at him here. What kind of, what do you think he's saying to us right now?
I know you're talking about me.
Yeah. He looks pretty interested, right? He knows we're talking to him. We know he knows where I'm engaging him, right?
He's alert.
He's alert. So ears forward mean, okay, all my attention's on you right now. If they were out in nature, they would be preyed upon. They have to be very tuned in and multi-sensory.
So what does this all mean? How does this help us in our life? How can the horses show us and help us be better communicators, to be more authentic, to be in the present moment? All these little nuances and the things that we're seeing, even though it's so subtle, these are the things that kind of make up our moments and make us make our choices of what we're doing from here, for tomorrow, for the next 5 minutes.
Sacred stones and no one knew the meaning. I just got there when everyone was leaving. Oh, 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 oh. Come on, Snow. Whoa, whoa, whoa.